digital art, your favorite one, will accrue value, vast value over time due to wealth effect of the above.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this on the podcast in the past, right? If I'm right, and I can't say I'm not going to be, and we go to $100 trillion over time, that's a fuck ton amount of money. And that is humans participating in what is going on, right? We're participating in the machine economy. Fantastic. The crypto rails, the finance system, they're taking our money away from us by coming into this. They're taking our rails. No, they're going to rent our rails off us, and we're going to own the tokens. So we're going to make the money out of all this. And at the end of it all, we'll have made a decent amount of money, and people will buy trophy assets. And we're going through the most ridiculous point in all of humanity. We're going through the point where we are not apex intelligence. And art records all of the stories of our time, the culture of our time. This is the single biggest moment in all of humanity is happening as we speak. I mean, what a time to be alive. And tell me that art is not going to be important? That's fucking ridiculous.
What's the time frame for that? Because I bought a bunch of CryptoPunks and XCOPY.
Yeah.
I don't look at this anymore. I'm like, the thing that you don't want to look at because it's like when you have a bid and it goes down, oh man, this thing is not moving.
Yeah.
The time frame is much longer.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's a function of the vibrancy of the crypto economy.
So you have to wait until crypto is worth 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 trillion to actually see a massive difference.
Well, you'll see it.
Because people will.
The moment, let's say, ETH goes from wherever it is today, 2.5 or whatever, to 5.
Is this ever happening again? I was talking with Dan Tapia.
We are allowed to have nice things. I know nobody believes it.
No,
Everyone
but
thinks we've been robbed of the whole game.
It's been 5 years of pain, right? So I was talking with Dan Tapia and we're saying like this is kind of like for a lot of people when NASDAQ is up 2x, Bitcoin barely has moved in 5 years. Obviously, it depends on what time frame you take. But if you look back 5 years, it feels like a lost decade for a lot of people who are in crypto.
When you ask Dan that and me that, we'll say, well, imagine what happens when it breaks out. That is accumulated energy that happens. Because we know what's happening. It's fucking obvious that they're going to be doing all of these things. The governments will continue to debase currency.
Yeah.
The financial industry will build on these rails. The agents are coming. It's fucking obvious. So therefore, when it does break out, the accumulated energy that it has is going to be something dramatic. And people have forgotten what the energy looks like when it hits those markets. They've forgotten how vertical.
That has been a long time.
Because people are looking at, Micron or Intel or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, look at Intel stock. 10-year consolidation, explosion. I mean, literal explosion. I kind of think that's where it's going. Now, is that this year, next year? It doesn't really matter. But even when ETH gets back up to the highs of the range, let's say, you'll see a lot more activity in NFTs because people are feeling more confident. But if it breaks through, then everything changes.
How the hell do you structure an NFT portfolio?
So I'm actually going to launch a fund on this because so many people came to me and said, well, I don't know how to do it. And I know how to do it. I've got I know the best people in the world are doing this. So I think we're going to launch a fund, XPAM. We'll be able to hopefully announce a partner that we're doing it with, which will be super interesting. We're just kind of finalizing that now. But otherwise, it's not easy for somebody who doesn't know how to do it, having talked people through it.
How would you structure an NFT fund?
That's because I know the space very well, and the people who are going to be involved in this know the space extremely well. So the fund will be structured for grail assets. So these are the really expensive, super scarce ones that already have proven social consensus.
For example?
So
what's a grail asset?
A one-of-one XCOPY, Alien Crypto Punk, a Sam Spratt one-of-one, a Beeple one-of-one. These things, proven value, trade anywhere between $600,000 and $10 million, $20 million, $30 million. Then the next tier down is the interesting tier. There's good convexity, which is the artists that have social consensus, have long-term proven value, particularly in this sideways market in ETH for a long time, that capture attention. There's a whole group of those who can get wildly re-rated. And so they may trade at, let's say...
For example? Maybe one, two example.
Die With the Most Likes, who's a very fantastic artist that is humorous, kind of gross, but what he's doing is commenting on the decline of Middle America. It's like a really important commentary, but also with a love affair for Middle America because he's from Indiana, he lives in it, sees it, and it's amazing work. Likely because of the importance of what he's cataloging is going to matter. And so, and he's very unique in how he does it. He's kind of like the Hunter S. Thompson of artists. So I think that's important. There's another German artist called Kim Assendorf, who's at the cutting edge of AI and art, where he's got these incredible 3D art, but it's made of a number of pixels, but you can define the number of pixels because each pixel itself is a token. So every pixel has value, and he's got these incredible things. And these things, these kind of collections are somewhere between, the really high quality ones of those are somewhere between 20 and 40 ETH. Call it 10 to 50 ETH, that bucket of people. Some of those can get wildly re-rated. Now, don't forget, ETH can get re-rated too. The convexity in a trade like this, and we've talked about this in the past, is absurd. If an artist gets re-rated from 20 ETH to 200 ETH, and there's plenty of things that trade at 200 ETH, that's a 5x. In that, and let's say over the next 10 years, where's ETH? 10 years? I have no idea. But let's say it's 20,000. Well, that's a massive 100x return because you get 10x on the NFT and ETH terms and 10x on ETH. Because as we talked about in the beginning, the ETH economy is not the same as the dollar economy. If you're rich in that economy, you'll spend more in that economy.
What kind of investor might be interested in investing into an NFT fund?
So we've spoken to a lot of people. There's a lot of family offices, general high net worth people who are curious, who've been in crypto, but non-crypto people who are interested in the art world. The other group is there's a lot of crypto OGs who've made a lot of money out of the space and have never bought digital art. And they're like, yeah. And I think it was a big move when Mickey Malka bought CryptoPunks IP. It's made it public. Beeple is still, very well seen within the space. And people starting to get it that you can't be in this space and not have one of the best product market fits it's ever created, which is digital art on chain. And so I speak to a lot of them. So I think a lot of the crypto OGs will buy art because all of the tech tycoons bought art, all of the real estate tycoons bought art, all of the hedge funders bought art. As soon as people make a lot of money, they buy art.
You mentioned Grails one, right, before. Does that mean that... I was talking to Jeff Park.
I did. Sorry, before we get to that, I missed a couple of parts of the fund.
Yeah, but that's why
Okay.
It's actually linked to that, probably. Yeah. I was talking to Jeff Park, and we were talking about... he was Bitwise advisor, and then he worked with Pomp and kind of Bitcoin analyst, and we're talking about real estate.
Yeah.
We're talking about real estate in New York.
Yeah.
And the ones that actually are really are very valuable are the ones that are $20 million penthouse, right? Yeah. Those are the ones. But the $1 million flat actually doesn't really get value over time.
No.
So similarly, right? Yeah. Talking about NFTs, you talk about the grail.
Yeah.
The $5 million punk, alien punk. Well, I have a bunch of punk, maybe 2 or 3, I don't know. They're not grails. Is this my $1 million flat in New York City? Like, should people only focus on like the top grail NFT or what's the...
No, all of this will get re-rated. It's still so small. So the whole space is going to get re-rated. Secondly, what you've got is a small apartment in a great block. Right? Because in that block is the alien punks and the cowboy punks that have sold for $20 million, $30 million, $20 million, $10 million. So you're living next to the billionaire billionaire adjacent in the right neighborhood. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. You know,
I feel better now.
yeah.
I feel better.
Now,
Thank you for making me feel better.
when if you're searching, if you're trying to make money and not just buying art for art's sake, which is I highly encourage everybody to do, but if you're actually trying to build a portfolio of this, then the issue is somewhere in the middle tier, there's artists that never get re-rated. It's like bands only get so much popularity. Doesn't mean they're not great bands, but for some reason it just doesn't become bigger. That's the risk. Is that the right neighborhood? Do the right people want to live there? It's the same thing.
But this would be more for artists. Or could be the same, maybe the Bored Apes don't get re-rated.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
the punks.
That's right.
Some punks don't get re-rated for some reason.
Some punks, they will all get. But which ones outperform, I don't know. But maybe apes is a good example. Maybe I'll never make my money back on my ape that I bought at the all-time highs.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So maybe that's not how it works.
Yeah.
The other part of what we're doing in the fund, which is interesting, is we're also going to be lending against NFTs because you can do lending markets on Gondi and a few other places, and you get great yields, like 15% plus, against assets that the fund would buy if the lender defaulted. So you get them at a good price. And then with the yield, we will obviously cover some of the fund's costs, but also reinvest in more emerging artists. So you're trying to support the entire ecosystem and add liquidity. Because there's tons of people who are sitting on, an alien punk. Well, there's not tons because there aren't many of them, but an alien punk, and they want to borrow, $1 million because they want to buy a house. Well, that releases liquidity, or they want to buy some more art. Just releases the liquidity, let it slosh around. So we're doing all that, and then we'll form some sort of club around this as well to introduce the investors to the artists themselves, so they can start their art journey themselves by buying art directly.
Do you know someone still stuck waiting on banks? Put them on KAST. You both get up to $250 cash. Store, move, and spend stablecoins globally without using bank friction. KAST. Keep it stable. Check the link in the description to learn more.